Hi, I'm Lara Waldman, author of Money Manifestation Mastery, and today we're going to speak about your inner child and money manifestation and how the two are interconnected. When I first started working as a healer over 20 years ago, my clients would come to me generally with anxiety, depression, grief, or when they were going through a hard time and they needed help navigating through those changes. And something interesting started to happen in these sessions. When I had them on the table, they were completely relaxed and they shared their problem or challenge with me. At some point in the session, I would often see a young child. This could be a baby, a toddler, or a bit older, or even a teenager. And I got curious about this. At first, I didn't understand what this was. But what I started to understand was there were aspects of themselves that were frozen in time through trauma or through some experience that they had at that age and stage that they hadn't progressed through. So how I saw it psychically was a young child. And I got curious about this young child that I was seeing. And I would start talking to that part of themselves or working with that part of themselves. That part was stuck or frozen in time. And what I found was when we held a space to really listen to their inner child, hold their inner child, get curious about what was happening for their inner child, and start to learn how to meet the needs of their inner child, something incredible started to happen where they would begin to grow up, sometimes very quickly within the session, eventually into an integrated, healed, healthy, whole adult. It was very beautiful to see. And I just got used to this over time as a healer, that this was a phenomenon that was happening in these sessions. So fast forward to my work with entrepreneurs and business owners when it comes to money, business, finance, growing your wealth. A really interesting thing can happen where there are unconscious money blocks, something going on inside of you that can be stopping you or blocking you from moving forward or growing your finances, your business, or your personal life, depending on what you're focusing on manifesting, on consciously creating. And what I found is our wounded inner child, or these frozen aspects of ourselves that haven't fully grown or evolved or healed from past experiences, can unconsciously sabotage you from moving forward, from growing, from developing, and create a lot of problems. Again, this is not something that most people will be consciously aware of, but it's incredibly fascinating. And I've developed, as part of my work, a way to work with your inner child, to support you with the growth that you desire, to evolve, to be able to move forward beyond your past. Because unhealed past can create problems when it comes to moving forward into your future. It can pull you back or cause lots of obstacles and problems for you. So here, with any money block, this is where we want to get curious. When there is a problem in your finances, when there's a problem in your business or your personal life, this is a sign, it's a symptom that there is a deeper issue going on. And this is where I love to get really curious. My little energy detective gets activated and we go to find out what is running this problem, right? What are the deeper roots of this surface symptom issue? And one of the money blocks I've come across time and time again is what I call your inner child. And your wounded inner child or unhealed aspects of your inner child can cause a lot of problems for you in business, finance, relationships, etc. And I've developed a way to work with that part of you, your wounded inner child, and actually have your inner child working for you, rather than against you. Your inner child, once it feels safe, heard, held, is actually a key piece to creativity and can be an incredible ally when it comes to manifesting what you want. But it can be a little journey to get there. So first, we need to talk about your wounded inner child, or the part of you that may be trapped in time, so to speak. Now, this happens usually at very young ages and stages of development, and really important ages and stages of development, and can keep you looping in unhealthy cycles that keep you stuck and unable to move forward. And of course, from any wounding that you experienced as a young child, that can then develop patterns of behavior, a term that's called your adaptive child, what you learn to cope with that pain or cope with that challenge at a very young age, and then develop strategies, coping strategies or ways of doing things that probably served you at that young age and stage, but can actually become a real problem for you when it comes to moving forward in the areas that you want to create, financially, business-wise, relationships, etc. So the challenge is this is a very hardwired pattern, program, ways of being. It's your default. It lives inside of your nervous system, so to speak. And it requires a real mastery in order to hold your inner child, heal your inner child, and help that part grow up so that you can actually lead in your life from your healed, whole, integrated adult self. And this is what I call lead from your wealth. We want to be leading, consciously leading from your adult, not from your unconscious wounded child. Unfortunately, many adults are running around with their wounded inner child running the show. So this is really about how to create heart, body, soul aligned wealth, heart, body, soul aligned leadership. Holding your inner child and working with your inner child is a key part of that. And this is why I love working with money and I love working with business owners, because there's an incredible opportunity for healing, for growth, for evolution, for transforming the past in your present to create a beautiful and a new future for yourself and those around you and all the lives that you touch. So it's really, really powerful and beautiful. So first of all, when you are finding yourself stuck, unable to move forward, or finding yourself cycling in negative experiences that aren't working for you anymore, you may want to go in and see what's happening with your inner child. So our inner child can do all sorts of things, and this is where you need to work on creating a relationship with this part of yourself. This part lives in vulnerability, this part lives in fear, this part lives in frustration or anger or jealousy, or all sorts of things that are actually very normal for children, and it's kind of healthy, normal stages of growth and evolution as a child is growing up. But if any of those developmental stages were affected negatively, or you weren't held and supported through important developmental stages, you can get frozen in time, so to speak. So what I like to do is always first hold a safe space, hold space for this part of you, and really start to get curious. You want to start a relationship with your inner child, with your child that may be in wounding or reactivity. And again, you will have to get curious and start to become aware of how does your wounded inner child play out in your present day life. It may be things that you don't feel great about, you might have shame about or be embarrassed about, but you know what's running you and how you react to certain situations that are going on. So we want to go and hold those parts of you. This is great work to do with a therapist, but you can also do it for yourself and with yourself. We want to get curious about your inner child. So my inner child, when it came to my business and what I was being guided to do by my heart and soul and that wealthy wisdom within, would absolutely freeze. She was terrified of what I was being guided to do and would just dig her heels in, which the result of that was I couldn't take action. I was really, really struggling to move forward. It actually felt like walking to my death, because there was a time where, really showing up as me, there was no room for that. So I have, hard data and evidence that it wasn't safe to do what I was being guided to do based on the past. So I learned to get curious about my inner child and what she was saying, what she was feeling. And just like if you are parenting a child, you sometimes might think, I don't have time for this. We need to move forward. We need to get on. But it's really important to spend time with this part of you, because this part of you can really get in the way of what you're wanting to create, unconsciously sabotage, or keep you cycling or looping in ways of doing things that are actually no longer serving you, that need to change. So first, you want to create space for your inner child, get curious, ask this part of you questions like, how are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's going on? And give them a space just to vent. Hold them in whatever is going on, just like a parent ideally does, or maybe a good therapist does. Hold space for this part of you who is having a big reaction. We need to hold space for all of the feelings to come out, so eventually this part of you can calm down. So what are you feeling? Holding space for all the feelings that are there, not making them wrong, not shaming them, not making them bad, giving them a space to breathe. We're not going to let those feelings lead, but we want to give them space to eventually release, and eventually so you can come back into a regulated nervous system once again. And also, a really great question to ask is, from that place, once the emotions have come, all the feelings, is, well, what do you need? What do you need? Now, the answer to this is often very vulnerable, and it may be in a bit of a blind spot. So this is a really powerful question, and it is a key ingredient to manifestation, and a really important thing to start to get curious about. What do you need? And asking this part of you what they need. What do you need essentially to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel heard, to feel held? Because your inner child just wants to feel safe, needs to feel that sense of home and safety and security, and to be loved unconditionally and received and mentored and guided, because that is what children need. And every age and stage is slightly different. So you need to meet yourself at wherever you got frozen in time. Now, the only challenge with this stage is if your wounded child is in a pre-verbal time, it may not be able to speak to you in words. So you need to hold space and kind of get curious. Maybe what are they feeling? Tapping into the feeling, or what it feels like through the body, really getting curious around that. So that's super, super interesting to see what is going on and running your inner child. So giving them a chance to speak, to be heard, to be held in a place of non-judgment, place of ideally unconditional love, if you can get there, and asking what your inner child needs. What do you need? What do you need to feel safe and secure, and essentially to calm down again? What do you need? And then the question I love from that place is, what do you want? Right? So there'll be a trigger or a wounded reaction to a problem that's presenting itself. And then from there, you want to take that pain or problem and turn it around, and then ask, well, what do you want then? Right? Because that wounded self can loop and get stuck in old stories and keep you going around and around the houses. So asking your inner child what they want can help to break that and start helping you move more into conscious creation. So this is a process, and it is a practice, and you're going to need to have lots of patience with yourself. If you're trying to take lots of action and move forward, you may get frustrated at times or feel impatient, or it may be challenging because this may be in a blind spot. But what I'd like to invite you into is to stay curious about this, because it's super, super interesting. And what I've found is this wounded inner child is often one of the money blocks that will be stopping you or blocking you from moving into your next level, from growing and expanding in your business, your finances, your life, your relationships. So it's a process, it's a journey, and it's understanding that your inner child is part of you. So anytime I tried to soldier ahead without my inner child, I just got slammed back. slammed back into the present over and over again. And I learned the hard way that there was no escaping the pain of my past, that in the present, there was an opportunity to heal, to transform, to alchemize my past so I could move forward into my future. And every time I tried to move forward into my future without holding and taking care of my wounded inner child, it didn't work. So this is part of the money manifestation mastery process. It's part of what I call integrated wealth, where the wealth that you're creating is actually serving and holding all of you. And so sometimes we need to slow down to speed up. So once your wounded child has been held, heard, feels seen, loved, received, listened to, generally they calm down, they relax. And as we start moving into what do they want, a really cool thing starts to happen. That when you feel safe, or when this part of you feels safe, something very cool happens, which is your creative energy starts to get activated, because your inner child has a lot of energy, has a lot of ideas, is very playful and joyful. And just like a healthy, happy child is, they are always playing, exploring, being curious, playing games. And this part of you can be a real contribution to your business, to your finances, to your life, bringing in more joy and more energy, more possibility. And your inner child, when it's happy and healthy, healed and whole and held, will actually help you expand beyond your current ways of thinking. That can be that kind of very serious adult sometimes. So you really actually want to spend the time working with your inner child and getting your inner child on board, because they're also a secret sauce ingredient to success. Lots of fun, and brings energy back into everything that you're doing. Generally speaking, you don't want your inner child to be leading in your business, leading in your life, leading in your finances. You want your adult to be the leader. But holding your inner child can help you to move forward in a more happy, healthy, harmonious way. And also, when your inner child is held, they may bring creativity, ideas, fun, innovation, joy, and actually magic. The magic of life, and bringing energy into everything that you're doing. But it's not everything, it's an aspect, it's a pillar of the money manifestation mastery process, and one to include. So this is an aspect of you that I've found is a very important piece. It's definitely not everything. And of course, you can create in your business, your life, your finances without your inner child. But I find that when your inner child is included in your life, it helps you to feel more joy, greater fulfillment, and living your life on purpose. And it also helps you with perspective, and to remember to do things that bring you joy in life, and to allow for that play, for more magic, to infuse everything you're doing with energy. And this is where we start to tap into the manifestation energy. And it's really, really cool. It makes it a lot more fun. It's also very powerful, but it can be deep and hard work in moments. So please be patient with yourself. Please be patient with your inner child. And remember that you're on a deep journey of healing, of evolution, of growth, alchemizing your past in your present, so you can create the future that you truly desire. So I would love to know a little bit more about your inner child. You can share in the comments below. What does your inner child need or want? What does your inner child want to create in your business, in your life, in your finances? I would love to hear. Please share in the comments below. Thank you for joining us for today's conversation, Manifesting Money with Your Inner Child. I'd love to know what you've received from this conversation today, so please let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed today's content, can you please take a minute to like this video? And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel to receive my weekly trainings, masterclasses, meditations every week on Wealthy Wednesday. I look forward to seeing you next time. And if you'd like to dive even deeper into this world of money manifestation mastery, I'd love to invite you to come and join me for my upcoming wealth retreat. This is my free online event for big-hearted business owners and entrepreneurs. Come over to my website, larawaldman.com, and book your free place there. I look forward to being with you again very soon.